join us. Okay, I'm using a different mic. Hopefully it's better. The other one thing was dying out, actually. So it was hard to tell. Somebody's here. I'm not sure how long it should last. We'll see. Yeah, so the Super Bowl was stolen. Like the last minute of it. I feel like the 49ers are going to win, and then last minute the Chiefs won. So I remember, I don't normally follow the Super Bowl like ever. I remember a couple of years ago. I remember the same thing happened. I don't think I remember tapping into the minute, but this was at the minute though. So it was done energetically. It wasn't. I don't feel like it was done physically. So it was done through spells and stuff like that. So they go into that. So like on the political landscape, that's done physically to a certain level, but there is still magic done on other realms. And so let me think. So it's like they had the Trump card during the Biden, when Biden won, but the Trump energy was pushed a lot, and the Biden card was in the background already. Kind of. I don't know if YouTube's going to strike me for this. They're like crying about everything, aren't they? But the Biden card was there to outmaneuver him spiritually, actually, and obviously it worked. So I don't know how they're doing it, how Trump's doing it this time. I guess he has his own spell people, or it's just done astrally. But Biden was. This is what I picked up on. Biden, because I tapped into it earlier. Biden was just there to wake people up. Of course, that was the other thing. And you have like positive elites energies that are involved with that too. So it's like you take a dead person, you put them in office, and it's just for society to wake itself up. And really, they are trying to move society forward. That's working out just great, isn't it? Just give them something to complain about. That's all. They're not moving forward at all. Some are, most aren't. They're just something to cry about. So, but they really want to. Whatever, however you want to say, the beings that are here do want to help move society forward. It's always about that. But as you can see, society is just a big log, just like a, it's mud. Yeah, it's their party to cry if they want to. They can cry if they want to, and they certainly do, and just sit there and go nowhere. So yeah, that's the lovely state of affairs we're in. So what's new there? So really, it's society. You can blame whatever you want, but it's society's choice in the long run. So this would be time travelers log parallel realities. Just something that's a little bit more fun than everything else. Can I reconnect to the Palladians and Syrians and whatever. I don't need to connect to that cult energy. I'll tap into it here and there, but kind of done that to death. Of course, the time traveler stuff I have done too, but kind of running out of stuff to connect to. And also, universe consciousness is whatever the universe has to say about whatever it has to say. So, other than that, we'll go into Priscilla's back, chilling out. That's nice. Instead of just wrecking everything. She can do that when I'm done. There's our entire coming pro sessions. We have a scheduler. I have a shop here. Okay. All right. Okay, we're going to time traveler frequency, and Priscilla's here to assist. I'm not going to put her in the camera again. Keep her quiet. She's behaving herself right now. So, and it goes to universe consciousness. So, all right, blessings. Greetings, time traveler frequencies. Realize you all have a significant connection to that. Doesn't mean you have to access it. That has a lot to do with how you move within the timelines and realities. Yes, you're always shifting, but you don't necessarily have to be aware of it. Just the idea is to just connect to the reality. Find something what you need to, where you need your attention to be. Some of you are doing significant healings on individuals that are here, and even going to their timelines and doing actual timeline operations there. So, but in your incarnations here, as for timeline shifting, but sometimes you have to uh, clear up your own reality for something new to occur, so it doesn't, get you in the long run. So you wonder why certain timelines don't, happen. Certain things are not come into your reality as soon as you would think to. It's like you're setting up the stage. Think of it that way. For timeline wars, yes, we're not going to always bring those up. There's just for obvious reasons, they're always occurring. But yeah, that's a touchy subject. There's heme connections to it. There's Palladian, there's Syrian, there's basically your founders of your Earth, which the founders of your planet don't usually make themselves known. Like, that they're part of the elders of your history, but they don't, like, a lot of entities have no idea what they look like, or they just know that it's them, and that's it. Yeah, they have no real, they're just energy a lot of times because they cloak themselves. Just to give you obviously everyone has their own point of view. You might see it as a flying hot dog for some, or a cow, or whatever it might be. Some have they just want to know, they just want to add an image to it. But that's usually, it's just not how it works that way. But it's either way, you can do whatever you want. Some people think it's Yeshua that did everything. It's like, okay, whatever. But connected to your consciousness, your time traveling frequencies, or just bringing in a new timeline is not necessarily a timeline war. They do exist, yes. But once again, it really comes down to clearing out your frequency for the new one to come through. So we're kind of repeating that because it does have a significance to it. Sometimes that has to do with someone crossing over. Sometimes you see that, like with politicians, for example. It's like someone dies, all of a sudden they get the. But that's more manipulation, though. You might get rid of a bunch of stuff, or have like a life change, or whatever it might be, and that can bring in a new frequency. It's not as cut and dry as that. A new way of looking at things, or just like, yes, releasing an old relationship, whatever it is. It might be very insignificant, but either way, it is a new beginning frequency. That's what you're tapping into. So in this February month, there is, yes, a lot of changes are in the works, but a lot of things won't probably activate until March, April, more March. So this is like the building phase. It's not always going to make itself known in this reality. Because it's kind of, usually you keep it cloaked overall. For parallel realities, there's always like an infinite realities that you're tapping into. And you're also seeing which ones you're bringing here. And it has to do also with the timeline that you have your timeline, but you're bringing a parallel reality here. Is what you're looking for. It's another way of looking at it. Like, it's already, in flux in another realm, and you're just looking for the right place to place it. It's like kind of like putting in a railroad track, you can say. One way of looking, or you're adding like another room to your home, you can say. That's another way of looking at it. So, like, if you're adding another room to your home, or another, usually you have to make some kind of arrangements, change things around, give you kind of an idea of what we're getting at. And another, like, you might not be physically, you have to make a change, but it's on an energy level, you have to make a change. And it doesn't always come to mind of what it is either. It's not as cut and dry as that. So you might not have any idea what you're releasing, or what kind of blockages you're clear, because the idea is for you to handle this new reality that you're bringing in. So, but what we're getting at is more of the timelines that you're working to connect to. Now, those that want like a mass amount of wealth and all that, realize that when you do that, you can also lose yourself. So many do. They might say they're not, but many do. But that also creates a new timeline here, meaning like another incarnation. It can, depending on the situation. Or the wealth timeline is just basically like giving back to all the things you've done for others. It's kind of like a farewell, like you're out of here. That's another part of it. This is me. Everyone has to say. Some get that. It depends on what type of work you're doing with the earth. So, blessings. Greens is the consciousness of the universe. This earth is as you can see, bringing out vulnerabilities. It's almost like basically incarnate in this world naked, technically. And yeah, it's you incarnate. Notice when you incarnate as a child, it's very vulnerable. So there's a purpose for that. So this world is about connecting to vulnerable connections. It's like going into your uncomfort zone, outside of your comfort zone. Not everybody is here to do it, but most are here. Some go to extreme lengths to it. I like those that go into a heavy drug connection and just can't get out of it, outside their comfort. Sometimes that's actually a comfort zone. Because they think they're on another planet, but they've done that and it's been fine. Like, pulling all this flower frequency and the psychedelic flower, and now they're bouncing over the place. They try to do that here and you end up in jail. So, or just you're mentally ill to that level. So, there are a lot of souls that do incarnate here mentally ill, but sometimes that can be healed. It depends on the traumas of other lifetimes. So you can bring traumas from other lifetimes in this lifetime. And I think some of you know that. Obviously, that's why I do shadow work and all that. Because there's those times. Sometimes those traumas from other incarnations could be so. It's like you can repeat it again and again and again. And so, but some of you incarnate here and kind of run into the same scenarios over and over again. But in those cases, sometimes it's actually to get you to connect to a certain individual that's going through that problem. It's complicated. It's like, yes, the universe, how it works is like a recipe. And it might not go as fast as it's just like when you make a cake. It's like not everyone likes it. There's certain recipes you want or certain realities that you want. That's it might make others happy, but it won't make everybody happy. So that's just the way but it is what is necessary. Let's put it that way. In your own incarnation timeline, yes, you're always making alterations. It's like a stop and go. Like you can literally, and there is a waiting period too that you can put in there. Sometimes it has to do with someone else's growth that you're just. Because there are individuals here that can get extremely lost here. It's almost like a lost bird, lost puppy, lost entity. And there is chances of, not to happen because there are a lot of consequences going to occur. That's not necessary. And that person can incarnate here for eons, So that's another reason why some of you take in certain people, take in certain relatives, whoever it might be, a cat, a dog, wherever it might be surprised. You wonder why certain family members bring in certain people into their lives that might be extremely toxic. There's a reason behind it. Not everybody's supposed to understand it, though. It is on a personal level, though. Not everything here is supposed to be explained. On a higher level, you can see it. On a physical level, it has to be a mystery. I mean, some of you might have an idea, but you can't always explain it to others. So just do your thing, do your jive. Because everyone has their own agendas, As oh, if you're on this agenda, everyone wants to be happy, but for you, you might need to be somewhere else. Well, like there's so many family members that disconnect, like children disconnect from their parents and just vanish, or well, because they have to go on their inner journey and they can't do all the family frequencies. They brought me into the world not to go figure myself out, and it might like hit roadblock after roadblock, but that was the intention. And they can't just have someone come in and save them. So they have to go through the consequences of the decision. So of course, parents are trying to overly parents or try to steer that out, and then sometimes that's okay. There are cases of that where it makes sense, but not always. Some that have to, yeah, come here to fail. Basically, kids come here to fail, and it's hard for the parent, but the parent has to realize that. And you're sending all your positive frequency, but the idea is for you not to get derailed either, because many parents actually derail themselves. But yeah, when you have a child that's obviously just like off the cuff, a lot of it is past life traumas, and sometimes it's timeline wars. Sometimes there are entities trying to control that person and take them to another level, a lower level. They might be already at a lower level, but the others trying to take it even lower and actually trap their soul and try to hold on to it forever. There's that too. So you wonder why some family members hold on to like a difficult child. You have a reason for it. It's like, yeah, this doesn't make any sense, but sometimes you're protecting them, not just from the world, but the angelic world too. So it's not always supposed to make a whole lot of sense. It's kind of like Papa Bear and Mama Bear just watching over a cub that just can't seem to get it right. So you do what you feel is right, from your internal self. And it might not make sense on a human level. It's not supposed to. Well, because there is a galactic warrior on so many different levels. And, it's not, it's not supposed to make sense. Eventually it will. But you'd be surprised how some of your restarting timelines of other individuals have actually stopped. Like you can stop, like your timeline can literally just be stuck. And some of you are doing energy work to unstuck it, especially doing individuals. You might, those that do like some of this online dating stuff, they're like, hey, I'm talking to this person for a couple of days and all of a sudden they vanish. Or sometimes it was just that short time that got them to go into a different direction. Just for example. Or like it's connected to a family member or a child that doesn't talk to you forever, talks to you for one day, then they're gone. But that was all they needed for them to go in the direction they need to. So give you some different significance of it. So,